Hey, remember when Tomac completely wadded his ass up right there and tore both of his shoulders out of place? Okay. Okay, so one thing right off the bat that I wanted to mention here is the fact that there's actually quite a few more tracks in this 2020 AMA Pro Motocross DLC for MX vs ATV All Out than I think a lot of people realize at the naked eye, okay? Like, you gotta understand, last year we only had like 8 or 9 different tracks or something like that, and that was with Loretta Lynn's included, whereas this year it seems like it's almost like more of the full-blown outdoor series. I don't know if it's actually every single round, but it's damn near every single round. That's what makes it very different from last year's DLC. I think a lot of people have it in their head, oh, well, it's just all the same tracks of last year's DLC with just the updated layouts or whatever, right? But that's actually not the case. You're literally getting the first, what track are we on now? Like the 4th or 5th track. You know, you had Florida, you had High Point, you had Hangtown, you got Thunder Valley. I know for a fact all of those have came out so far in this 2020 DLC that we did not get at all with last year's DLC. Those tracks weren't even in that DLC at all. And of course, Florida, we didn't really, I don't think they actually raced in Florida last year, but there's certain tracks they just didn't even do last year, even though they did those in real life last year. You understand what I'm saying? So this definitely does feel like a new DLC. You know what I mean? It definitely feels like something that's worth your money. I know a lot of people are going to think kind of down that road of like, why would you just buy the next year's national DLC? Is it really going to be worth it? You know, or is it just kind of going to be the same thing, but just different layouts of the tracks that you already got? And I know a lot of people are going to kind of think like that, because I was kind of thinking like that. I was like, okay, cool, they're doing the DLC again, but like, how much of a different experience is it really going to be from last year's DLC? And from what I can tell you so far, it feels like a totally different DLC. I mean, you're getting literally 4 or 5 tracks right off the bat that you didn't get last year at all. These aren't just updated layouts. These are full brand new tracks that you did not get in the game at all last year. So I just really wanted to point that out and make that a deal here, because for whatever reason, I had it in my head that we had Thunder Valley last year, but I don't even think we had Thunder Valley. I just went and looked through all the tracks of last year, and I did not see a Thunder Valley. So here we are, literally like on the 4th track already that we didn't get last year. So really, really cool. Let's see what kind of rut designs this gets going on. I can feel the dirt feels a little bit more friction-y for some reason. I'm not really sure if they're trying to like, oh my God, I just like thought like probably way too deep. I don't there's no way they did this for this purpose, but you know, being in the higher elevation, trying to make it feel like the bikes are kind of cut down on power. You know, I'm probably giving them way too much credit here, but it definitely kind of does feel like that. It feels like there's some kind of a, you know, like a more friction-y, something on the dirt that's kind of cutting your power down a little bit. I don't know if they intended for that to feel like a higher elevation power cut down thing, or if they're just trying to make a, you know, a deeper dirt, higher friction. I'm not really sure what was going into that exactly, or what went into the design of that, but it's definitely giving me that vibe that I just straight up have less power on the bike. like it's just that simple. So very interesting how it feels like that. I don't know. It just kind of feels like I'm not really picking up quite the speed that I normally would on some of those other tracks. So maybe it's not like a super big difference, but I can definitely tell a slight difference in the dirt traction itself, you know, than what I've felt on like, you know, Hangtown, for instance, or High Point, stuff like that, right? This definitely feels like a little bit like a deeper dirt vibe to some extent here. So, but yeah, train deformation seems to be doing a little bit different than it has been doing. Like, look at this right here. Oh my God. Dude, like the bike almost comes to a complete stop going up that hill. Holy crap. Oh, got a little kick right there, dude. Yeah, look at the way the ruts are. What have they done with this track? I don't know. This is interesting. They've definitely done a little something here. It's making the terrain deformation a little bit different. The power, like the traction feels different. It's definitely interesting here. This feels different in a lot of different ways than some of the tracks that we've gotten so far. So you kind of got this little roller up the hill section. Bike literally almost comes to a complete stop. Like, oh my word. This game definitely has some crazy momentum swings to it, right? Like insanity momentum swings. Like you can literally have such a loss of momentum without even really doing anything that crazy. It's just like you hit a little bit of roughness a weird way, or you hit one little weird bounce and like the bike will almost literally completely stop. Like it's actually kind of insane. Maybe I need to go in there and tune my gearing a little better. I'm not really sure. I might try to do that here in a second. We'll see if I can kind of tune the bike around this track a little better. But I know like there's just a lot to the tuning of this game. You know what I mean? For an arcade motocross game, there's quite a bit to it. So it's not just as simple as like, you know, hey, here's your acceleration and here's your, you know, top speed and like all these simple little adjustments. It like everything affects everything in a way, you know, like if you change your tires in a certain way, it might help you in one way, but then it's going to hurt you in other ways. So there's kind of a, you know, which I guess it's the same way like on reflexes tuning, you know what I mean? If you go more like top speed, you're not going to be as good on a like tighter supercross track, but if you go more acceleration, you're not going to be as good on a, you know, long style motocross track, pine top, something like that, right? So yeah, I guess there always is kind of a you know, negatives and positives, but I feel like this game really has negatives and positives to the tuning of it, right? So either way. Okay, yeah, so you can start carrying a little bit of momentum right there. You can kind of over jump that double into this, and you got to huck that daddy fatty right there a little bit to be able to jump that over. But okay, so I'm in here on the time trial of this track, and it took me to a cool, almost like nighttime vibe thing going on here. So this is interesting. Completely different time of day effect on the track. Feels like you're on a completely different track, right? I need to start kind of showing this off a little more when I go in here and sort of do these little track preview, track review, whatever of these new DLC tracks. I need to come in here with multiple different time of day effects going on so you get the full effect of what it can actually look like, right? For whatever reason, this looks a lot more like a lot of the MX Simulator replica tracks on this track now for some reason, whereas before it was feeling more like I don't know, it just makes the whole track feel totally different. Like I don't know, it's weird. Makes everything feel completely different when you get a different time of day like that. Like I feel like I'm on a totally different track. Like specifically I know the 2017 Thunder Valley on MX Simulator that I ride on quite a bit. It's got a lot, very similar. I don't know if it's like lighting or what going on, but that's the track that I feel like I'm on now. Oh my God. Alrighty then, there we go. That wasn't the Tomac downhill, I don't think. It might have been though. It's interesting because sometimes you'll get vibes of like, I actually think it was, matter of fact, but either way, pulled me a little Tomac action, but so let's see if we can hit this a little better now. There we go, Spency boy. Just had to go in there and adjust my engine and sprocket and all that a little bit, get a little more power out of the bike. So I guess that jump's not as hard as I was originally thinking in my head, but either way, now we're goosing it, boys. Now we're getting her going. That's probably one of the most crucial freaking like tuning things in any of these motocross games is going to be your like, at least arcade motocross games, going to be your, you know, your gearing, top speed, acceleration, that whole kind of thing. Yeah, I'm jumping that thing easy now. I don't know what I was doing with that other before, but got a lot more power on the bike now. At least more acceleration for sure. So, Yeah, but what I was saying is, like, on that daytime version of this track before, it was kind of feeling like I was racing on the real life Thunder Valley, like, kind of was giving me different vibes, whereas this time of day gives me like a MX Simulator Thunder Valley vibe. I don't really know how to explain it any better than that, but it's cool how you can get some different feelings and stuff like that from it. But yeah, now I'm able to jump over that. Even when I over jumped the double before, I was having trouble doing that before. So now I'm able to hit that a little better. But yeah, I still do feel a slight little difference in the traction on this track. Like, as far as, just feels like it's got more friction than a lot of the other tracks to me. I don't really know if that's actually the case or it's just all in my head. I don't really know, but that's definitely what it feels like for sure. So either way, you can definitely still damn near come to a stop on some of these little uphills and stuff, but a lot of roughness coming down that hill. Definitely get pretty sketchy on that. I'm sure the terrain deformation changed this track a lot once you get like 10, 15 laps into it with a full gate, right? Dude, I love the way when you get the different time of day, you get all different kind of shadows, you get all different kind of stuff going on the track. Really, really cool to see all of that. Lots of roughness coming through here. Got some pre-made ruts. This is kind of more down that, not like super, super pre-made, but it's also not perfectly flat either. It's somewhere in the middle ground, which is cool. This is not as insane as High Points pre-made. I thought High Points pre-made was insanity. Like, oh my God, that was some insanity pre-made. Like, I don't know. Woo! That's pretty insane for High Point, but either way, this definitely fitting the Thunder Valley vibe right here as far as the way the pre-made ruts are and pre-made roughness. I don't really have anything negative to say about this track at all, dude. At all. Giving me that little slight, like, cut down power filling with the more friction filling on the track that I think they did to the track. I don't know for sure if they really did that, but I'm just saying, I don't know, there's just something to the dirt that just feels different. Like it just did some kind of little different kind of traction-y feeling to it or something. But either way, don't forget, if any of you guys want to get in my Discord, all you got to do is DM me on Instagram at Spencer Turley, no spaces and no capital letters. You can go follow me up on Twitter. Same username, Spencer Turley, no spaces, no capital letters. That's my everything. That's my Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, pretty much everything, dog. That's what it is. So either way, dude, just want to get here and check out this track real quick. And yeah, another nice DLC track. This DLC is worth it, 100%, without a doubt. If you're any kind of a motocross gaming fan, like, dog, just think about all the different DLCs we've gotten over the years in these different games. Like, anytime you're getting an actual legit Lucas Oil Pro Motocross DLC, dog, like, it's gonna be worth your money, period. Every time, dude. Every single time. It just is. Like, I don't know any other way to explain it, but that's about the best kind of DLC you could possibly imagine for any of these, arcade motocross games like this. Just about as good as it gets. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.